Hello, everybody. Namaste. And as we do every Wednesday, we will be sharing one of the aspects of healing. And for this evening, I've chosen the subject of the science of tensing and relaxing. As you know, this is a very central part of every energization exercise. Energization exercises are over 100-year-old system that was shared by Paramhansa Yogananda ji. There are 39 exercises. And today I'll be focusing on the component of tensing and relaxing within the energization exercises. And of course, this is a part of all exercises. Any physical movement involves tensing and relaxing of muscles. So let's begin with a prayer, and then we will go into our subject. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, our beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, beloved Swami Ji, we humbly bow before you all. O great masters, we thank you for your presence in our lives, for the gift of your teachings, and especially today, we thank you for the gift of energization exercises. Help us apply the principles of these exercises in our daily practice, in our daily lives, that we may feel greater energy, vitality, strength, that we may feel freedom from body consciousness and greater energy within and all around. Help us bring healing in body, mind, and spirit for ourselves and all others. Om Shanti. Now, we'll meditate just for a minute, but let's go into this very brief minute of meditation by doing 3 rounds of the energization exercise, the simple principle of double inhalation, tensing all the body muscles, and double exhalation through the mouth and relaxing the muscles. Let's do this together. One last time. As you meditate, I'll close your eyes and try to feel right below the skin. As we discussed in the previous class, as Yogananda said, there is a tremendous current just beneath the flesh. And even by these few repetitions of energization exercises, sometimes we can feel that tingling sensation just beneath the skin. Tune into that just for a few moments. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, welcome once again, friends. We had discussed last week about that opening line from Yogananda Ji's book, How to Achieve Glowing Health and Vitality, chapter 1, that there is limitless energy around us, or Swami Kriyananda Ji, as he put it in the Art and Science of Raj Yoga book, he said the energy of the universe is locked at the base of each person's spine, awaiting that awakening. That's called the Kundalini energy. And it's very interesting that we have so much energy. The masters say, I had given the example of, Swami Paramhansa Yogananda ji, who barely slept, just a few hours every month, they say. And he wasn't showing off, but he was trying to show that there is actually a lot of energy around that we can utilize and channel through our minds, through our activities, through our feelings, and most importantly, for our spiritual awakening. Now, Master had also, in his book Autobiography of a Yogi, he met two lady saints, and one had not eaten hardly anything for 25 years and the other for 40 years. He has taken and presented their photographs, he took their interviews, he has asked them many beautiful questions. There are two beautiful chapters that you can read. But anyway, the one of the interesting points they both made was God does not want this to be the norm. So it's not like you and I have to go without sleep or food, but the point is there is a lot of energy available to each of us to channel through ourselves for our healing and for our upliftment of consciousness. So the question is, well, how, if there's all this energy around us, how do we access it? How can we feel it? And there are many things that go into it. For example, the attitude, and someday we'll do a class on that, of willingness or applying our willpower and enthusiasm and kind of, you might say, reverence for the technique and such. But today I want to speak about this component of tensing and relaxing the muscles. And of course, it is very simple. It looks simple. It has to be done consciously. That's how Yogananda ji expressed it. But let's discuss what happens when we tense and relax the body tissues. And what did then Yogananda ji expect, or how does he explain the deeper aspects of that? So, of course, anytime, let's say, you're tensing a muscle. I'm tensing the biceps over here. So the triceps, the opposing muscle, gets extended and relaxed. And so this movement of tensing and relaxing of a particular muscle or opposing muscles is going on all the time in any movement that we do. And what's happening over there? Well, blood flow is increasing, nerve conduction is happening. Uh, as the muscles tense and relax, the nerve impulses go and the muscles tense and relax. Blood is being squeezed out, lymphatics or lymph is being moved around. But let's say on a muscular level, the muscles are active. And that is very important. We take this very simple movement, or mechanism of tensing and relaxing for granted, but it's not like that. I have seen people who are paralyzed in a certain muscle or a larger part of their body, and muscle movement is not possible. I myself remember one time when I had a cast on my left lower leg because of a sprain I had 25 years ago. After a month, when the cast was removed, my leg had shriveled to almost half the size. I had lost that much muscle. It's a common phenomena that happens when you don't use it, as they say, use it or lose it. So if you're not tensing and relaxing in a day-to-day manner, we start losing muscle. And in the next week, I'll cover how much of that we lose decade by decade, generally with age. And again, the importance of why we should be keeping up exercise, and particularly how and why Yogananda ji designed the energization exercises. But on a more deeper level, what's also happening, and let me read it from Paramhansa Yogananda ji's own writing in the Glowing Health and Vitality book. He writes on page 20. The purpose of tension and relaxation is to dissociate life force and mind from the consciousness of the body. When that is accomplished, the will and life force actually own the whole body and can, through their healing rays, remove chronic defects from any body part. Now, that is remarkable, friends. I have tried to meditate and keep in mind that line for many years now, that ultimately, when we are doing energization exercises, yes, there will be muscular benefits. The muscles, when they tense and relax, they give that impetus or that tug to the bones. That is important for the strength of tendons and ligaments, which hold the joints and muscles and bones, the skeletal system together. Well, it also increases the absorption of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus from the intestines. So it's a wonderful system that is happening. Things are happening on the muscular, on the physical level, and I'll share some other benefits that come. But in that statement, Yogananda ji is saying that by tensing and relaxing, And he gives the techniques of how to focus: low, medium, high, vibrate, increase. This is the increase of tension and increase of energy flow. That's what's really happening. And then he says, relax and feel high, medium, low, and complete relaxation. And it may feel like, why are we tensing our bodies? Are we increasing tension over there? We are increasing tension, but not the tension that we think of as psychological or bodily tension. Because what's really happening is we carry tensions all over our body, you might say. When we are in traffic, when you hear a loud sound, or you're emotionally upset, or even when you're in grief, there are certain postures that we adopt, and they can easily become habit. And these tensions are hiding all over the body. And Yogananda said one of the best ways to get rid of them, we may not even know where is the tension. People wake up sometimes after a 10-hour sleep, and they say, I'm not feeling so relaxed. I was just tossing and turning in bed. Why? Because psychological, physical tensions are there. And Yogananda said one of the best ways to get rid of them is to tense the whole body. And then he says, breathe out and completely, consciously learn to relax. So learn to gather the tensions and learn to flush them out through the outgoing breath, with the help of the outgoing breath. Now, in the energization exercises, when we do, for example, the last exercise, the 39th energization exercise, we focus on that. We normally suggest we close our eyes. It's a very simple movement of moving the arms away from the body with the outgoing breath, then inhale and bring the hands closer to the body. And at that time, we suggest that feel energy, feel below the skin in the body parts. And when you close your eyes, you can interiorize more. So that ability to go beyond the physical body is quite possible. Another time, Paramhansa Yogananda ji, he said our physical body is, he said it's like compacted life force. Just like matter is nothing but energy. Now we know that in atomic sciences. So it is with our physical body. It's compacted life force. And when we can learn to stretch, breathe in, and relax those body tissues and remove the tensions, we do feel a reality much larger than the physical body. And that is, in yoga terms, called the astral body or the energy body, or simply the feeling of greater energy awareness all around. So again, for Yogananda ji, he took this simple movement of tensing and relaxing to a whole different level. How are you tensing? Why are you tensing? How much are you tensing? How much do you need to tense based on what is your daily energy or particular energy requirement? And then how can we relax and feel that life force? When we are tensing, we bring the energy through the medulla into a particular part of the body or the entire body. And when we relax and feel, we can feel that energy, and it relaxes and as a reservoir goes to our spine once again. So we can feel these energy movements with greater practice. And this is where Yogananda ji was saying that the special emphasis on tensing with concentration, with feeling, and the importance of that. Now, I want to read just a few benefits that come through energization exercises, and then I'll give some other benefits in the subsequent class. But I want to corroborate what Yogananda ji said about tensing and relaxing with some research I have been reading from a book on muscle health. So let's see what Yogananda ji writes over here. Paramhansa Yogananda says, by practicing energization, brain power and memory are increased through a greater blood supply. It raises the general vitality, resulting in the wonderful development of tissue strength and nerve vigor, thereby ensuring greater longevity, greater lifespan. And let's read. This is a book I've been reading of late on muscle strength, and I want to share a few things. What happens, for example, in our muscles on a physical level when we are tensing and relaxing? There are these wonderful chemicals called myokines or cytokines that are produced. And what do they do? Let's read over here. I'll quote a few lines from this book. Muscle tissues releases small signaling proteins known as myokines that act both locally and system-wide throughout the body. Pioneering research established muscle contraction's power to influence metabolism through the stimulation, production, and release of disease-fighting cytokines. New science reveals yet another major health boost provided by resistance training. And we are increasing and decreasing the resistance, the tension in the muscles. But it doesn't stop with just what we do in energization. Yogananda said, if your need is greater, he said, imagine 10 pounds of weights and resistance you're lifting or holding, 20, 30, 40 pounds or more. And again, so it is with the repetition of movements. Master said, do as much gradually as is your need. By resistance training, new science reveals yet another major health boost provided by resistance training: increased production and release of myokines. Myokines are a collection of small proteins and peptides secreted in the bloodstream during skeletal muscle contraction. Myokines even improve your sense of well-being and capacity to learn. Studies have shown that working out increases blood flow to the brain, promoting the development of new brain cells, which is exactly what Yogananda ji was also saying. Billions, and I didn't read that part, I'll do it in the next class. Those are the detailed benefits. But billions of, he said, new cells are formed, new brain cells are formed. Here they go on to write that two particular myokines, I won't go into the details of the name, they increase and stimulate the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which boosts neurogenesis or the formation of new neurons, facilitating learning and memory. Higher levels of BDNF correlate with the decreased incidence of mood disorders. Again, Yogananda ji was sharing, and it's compiled in this book, Divine Will Healing, how so many psychological diseases like laziness, unwillingness, irritability, anger, Master said melancholy or depression, anxiety. He said many of these things will simply fall off your inner self, your form, if you practice energization exercises twice a day with willingness and enthusiasm. So again, I'll read one final one over here, and then I'll continue in my next class. Higher levels of BDNF correlate with decreased incidence of mood disorders, while aerobic exercise-induced increases in BDNF are associated with increased volume in the hippocampus, the region of the brain that facilitates learning, memory, and spatial awareness. Now, again, aerobic. Normally, we don't talk about energization exercises like that, but one should exercise and go in for aerobics if that is what you need. But even in energization exercises, there are exercises like walking in place, running in place. And again, we do it a few times, but we don't have to stop there. Yogananda said you can do it 100 times, 100 steps in one place, up to 400 steps. And a few days ago when I was at the men's monastery where I'm staying, one of the monks was exercising in the morning, and I could hear him exercise. And when he started walking in place, he didn't stop for 10 minutes. This is a person, he has a lot of outdoor work that he does in maintaining the larger property at Ananda village, handling heavy machinery and such. And I was so happy, like, go for it. You're doing these practices, the one you need more, in greater number, because that way we all can uniquely derive exactly the kind of benefit and flow of energy, the amount of energy we are seeking from these exercises. So thank you very much for joining for this, friends. And I will continue this subject of tensing and relaxing, its benefits, and the benefits in general of energization exercises in the subsequent class. God bless you.